Hey guys, so as many of you know, I am a horror artist. So naturally, that means that I love fog. Fog is amazing. Fog just makes a scene better, makes it cooler, makes it scarier, and above all else, it can hide just how empty your scene really is. Or, if you're like me, how bad you are at UVs. Dear God, look at that, it's horrible. But how do we make fog in Blender? Well, today we're going to take a look at 3 distinct methods, each of them quick, simple, and with their own benefits. The first being world fog, which will evenly distribute a nice misty haze across your whole scene. Then we'll take a look at volumetric boxes, which can be placed in specific places in your scene, giving you much more control over where your fog actually goes. And then finally, we're going to go over the mist pass, which is done through compositing and is now my favorite go-to method for making fog. So without further ado, let's get into fog. Today, I'll be using Blender version 4.3 with the Eevee render engine, because Cycle sucks. And for today's tutorial, I've also mocked up just a quick little scene using some assets from Blender Kit, which is an add-on that you guys can download for free that adds a built-in asset library full of materials, objects, and more. So we're starting off with World Fog because it's going to be the easiest of the 3 methods that we'll look at today. World Fog essentially runs off of one single node, so it's super simple, and yeah, let's just take a look at what that node looks like. So to do that, I'm going to drag up our bottom here, and your default scene is going to be a timeline. We don't want a timeline, we want the shader editor, so we're going to go to this bottom left button. Let's just hit that and go find shader editor. I'm in my world shader editor already. You guys are probably going to be an object. So right next to that button we just pressed, there will be one that says object for you. Click on that and just select world. And to add this node, let's just hold down shift, press A, and that'll bring up our little add menu here. In the search bar, I want you to type in volume, and you'll see a few things that pop up here, but we want the principled volume shader node. And then really all we have to do after this, take it over here, drag our volume output into the volume input of the world output node. Wow, this looks great. All right, nothing happened because we're actually not in rendered view. So let's just move to our camera and then go up to the top right and let's pop into rendered view and see what this fog looks like. Okay, so the scene is completely black, which is not really what we want, right? We want fog. So if you guys take a look at your principled volume, density is at 1. Now, 1 doesn't seem like that much, right? However, 1 actually means 100%. So we're actually going to want to click on this, and let's change it to something like 0.01. Actually, let's just do 0.05. I think that's a good value for today. Now, I changed it to 0.05, and the scene is still black. Why is this happening? So we don't actually have any lights in the scene. So let's just do Shift A, and let's find a point light. Oh, alright guys, something's happening. So let's move our point light over like that. And I'm just going to crank it up to something like 600, just so we can see what's going on. Boom. So I think you guys can already start to see the effect that we're going for here, which is this like misty fog. So we can add this light up here. Let's just duplicate a few of these around, and then we can further play with this node a bit more. So let's add a light back there. We'll add a light over here. But now we have a scene with fog. Now what can we do with this node? What can we do with it? Well, first of all, we can change the color. So if we want to change the color of this, make it like kind of a hazy greenish blue. And if you change the color of your lights, it'll affect the color of the fog as well, with how it interacts with the volume, which is pretty cool. But what else can we do with this? I will say this is the least customizable method that we're going to be looking at today. But there are a few more things that we can do that I think are pretty fun. The main one is adding a noise texture. So if we Shift A, type in noise, you can add a noise texture right here. And we can actually plug this into like our density, for example. And now you'll see it's like, whoa, crazy dense. So let's add a color ramp real quick. And then we can start adjusting these values, and you'll see that our fog now has, well, noise applied to it. And the noise is going to the density, so it's making kind of these like little clumps within the fog. And we can change the scale of the noise to affect this greater. So this is something you can just kind of play around with. You can move this slider around, you can change the values, etc., change the scale, you can change the detail of your noise. It's great. It's really, really nice if you just want to slap on some quick fog to your scene and not really worry about it too much. But if you're looking for a more customizable type of fog, I think you're going to like our next two methods a lot more. Now, before we get into our second fog type, I just want to talk to you guys real quick about my Patreon page. It's a great way to support me and my work for as little as $1 a month. And if you guys are willing to pledge $3 or $5 a month, you get super cool benefits like access to my Blender files, behind the scenes content, early access to my videos, and more. And no matter what tier you subscribe to, you'll always be included in the shoutout section at the end of my videos. So please go check out the Patreon page using the link down in the description. I'd really, really appreciate it. Now, let's take what we learned with our first method and take it just a bit further. So I'm going to be using just the same exact scene that we used before. Now, we're still in the world shader, and that's not what we want. We want to be able to apply this to an object. So let's go back up to this top left button here, click where it says world, and let's select object. Now we need an object to actually apply this fog shader to. So let's go back up to our viewport, hold down Shift, press A, and then let's type in cube, and let's get a little cube here. All right, now that I have my cube, we can come back down to the shader editor and press new. And that gives our cube just a little material. But obviously we don't want this, so we can just delete the original BSDF shader that Blender gives us. And instead, hold down Shift, A, let's type in volume, and then let's select principled volume. So this is really just the same technique. But again, instead of applying it to the entire scene, we're just going to apply it to this one object as a material. And what's so great about this is now we have fog in this contained little space. So if we wanted to, we could just blow this up really big. Of course, we'd want the density a bit lower. Yeah, so instead of using world fog, we could use this. Personally, I just like world fog, just having a nice base level haze to my scene. And then I typically will use volumetric shaders or objects like this, just for some further detail and customization. But again, that's the great part about them, is that now I have just this little object of fog that I can put literally anywhere, and then just have fog in that one specific spot. So what I personally like using this for is sort of a ground fog, you know, when it hangs really low to the ground, kind of like on a misty morning, that sort of effect, this is really, really great for. And just to preview that, let's add in, once again, our noise texture and a color ramp, and then we'll just plug in the color to the factor and then the color to the density. And then remember, we can just control these sliders to help customize our density a bit more. Black is going to be no density at all, whereas white is peak density. So just scale these how you want. I like to just get it a little clumpy. I like larger clumps, so let's do something like that. Now you guys can see we have these like cloud-like shapes inside of our box. This is where it starts to get just really cool and really fun. So if we can start scaling it, I like to get mine kind of flat like this. And then we can sort of just bring it down towards the ground. And if you don't like the placement of your clumps, if you guys have the Node Wrangler add-on turned on inside Blender, you can actually just select noise texture, hit Control plus T, and then you get these texture coordinates. And this sort of lets you randomize your noise. So I like this one personally. Let's move this back here and then move it down closer to the ground. And now all of a sudden you can kind of see what this is doing. This is just adding that nice little layer of ground fog hanging just above the ground. And it really just adds so much more to the scene that you can't really get with the world fog that just generates everywhere. And there is far more uses for this. Actually, if you guys want to just delete that noise texture really quick, just have a flat base fog. Let's turn our density down to around 0.1 just so we can still see it. And then I'm going to scale it on the x-axis and push it further back. Let's scale that up. So now you guys can see that this building furthest from our camera looks actually more distant. It's more faded because we have this volumetric in front of it. If we push that back, it has a bit more color, a bit more contrast to it, but we pull that in, just fades it slightly more. Now this sort of technique that we're going into here actually leads us perfectly into our third and final method, the mist pass, which actually achieves this exact effect but with much more customizability as it is specifically made to get this sort of atmospheric perspective inside of Blender. Now we're on to our final method, which is going to be nothing like the first two, both of which were relying on shaders. Instead, now we're going to be moving over to the compositing tab. And just a heads up, this one will be a bit more complex than the first two. Now let's just hop into our compositing tab real quick. So if you guys have hopped into your compositing tab here, you'll realize that it's completely empty. And this is because we want to come up to the top left here and select Use Nodes. This allows us to use nodes much like we do in the shader editor to affect our compositing processes. So we'll have these two nodes here, the render layers, which is basically taking everything from your scene. Right now we just have the base image, so when we render out our scene, we just get this one flat static image. However, Blender can work much like Photoshop, where it renders out in specific layers. One of these layers being the mist layer. So if we come over to our right hand side, you'll see this little icon that's like a bunch of little images stacked on top of each other. This is our view layer properties. So let's click on that really quick and select mist. Now you'll see that our render layers tab actually just grew a little bit, and now it has a mist output node. And we can actually see what that looks like really quick. So if you guys have the Node Wrangler add-on installed, once again, just Control, Shift, and click on our render layers. And now since I've rendered out my image already, we can get a nice little preview of what our render will look like. Now this is a bit big, so let's go over to the right hand side here, select View, and just hit Fit. And that'll make our backdrop just fit to the size of our window. Now, we're viewing our just base render in the viewer node here, but we can actually plug in mist to the viewer node instead. Now it's gonna be black, so let's render out our image one more time. Now you can see that the mist node is being viewed. So this is what our mist looks like just on its own without the rest of our render. However, the problem is that we want to combine these two things. And you could combine them in a program like Photoshop and just render them out separately and make the mist pass like an overlay layer or something like that. But we can actually do all of this within Blender just using a few simple nodes. So to get started, let's do Shift A and add in a color ramp. So this is actually going to be quite similar to the last method we did, where the color ramp will simply act as a way to clamp certain values of our fog to get more customizability. And you're going to want to put the color ramp right between mist and currently the viewer node here. But then we're going to want to add in one more node, which is called a mix color node, or mix RGB. Now we want to take the image output of our color ramp and bring it up to the factor input of the mix RGB node. And then we want to take the image from our base render layers and put it into the first image input of the mix RGB. And finally, we can take the image output and plug that into our composite and to our viewer. And now you'll see all of a sudden our scene is very hazy, and that's not what it looks like out here. There's no fog. So the one downside I will say of the compositing effect is that it is not done in real time. So you can't see it in your scene while you're working as you could with world fog or volumetric shaders. But the bonus to this is that A, it's more customizable, and B, it doesn't slow down your computer's runtime, because volumetrics can be pretty beefy. I think Blender seems to handle them pretty well when it's a simple small scene like this, but if you were to do something larger, it could get kind of crazy. So this technique might appeal to you more if you're doing a large forest or cityscape or something like that. And I personally think the length that you can customize this just makes it a much better technique. Now, how can you customize it? Well, using this color ramp, let's just scale up this black value. And now you can see how this is affecting the scene. So basically, black is pushing the fog away from the camera, whereas white will be bringing it forward to the camera. So now we're completely enveloped in mist. Now it's slowly inching back. Now if we take white and we just scale that down a bit, that'll decrease the max density of our fog. So let's just take that down to about here. Now that we have all of this set up, let's just render out our image, and you'll see that it's now all combined. And once you render out something in Blender, you can actually go up to the top right, and where it says composite, you can select that and hit view layer. And now you can see that this is just our base render image. But if we go back up to the top right, we can actually select just the mist pass, and that'll show us what the mist pass is actually doing for our scene. So you can still get these images separately, but you also get this nice combined version, which just saves you a bit of time. And then of course you can also change the color of this fog using this little block right here. So if we make this blue, now we kind of have this blue fog. If you make it yellow, you get kind of a piss yellow fog, which is, you know, if you want that, that's great. But this effect in general is just really nice. Personally, being an illustrator first before 3D artist, atmospheric perspective is really important to me, and having a way to create it this easily within Blender is an amazing tool that I just picked up, and I really wanted to share it with you guys. But I understand that many scenes could require different things, so of course we included the first two methods, and I think you can use all three in tandem with one another to really get a nice cool fog effect. So here's our 3 fog types. Now you guys can take these methods and add fog to your own scenes. And if you do make some cool foggy stuff, be sure to come share them over on our Discord server. The link for it will be down in the description, and I always love getting to see what stuff you guys are making. I've actually been doing this fun little thing where I make a community post highlighting some of my favorite work that people post on there, so maybe you and your stuff could get featured next. And if you guys have any suggestions on what you'd like to see me do next, please let me know down in the comments. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.